And we are live on this very interesting day. The market absolutely slaughtering Tesla against the upcoming Cybercab launch. Who cares? There was a recall today in China and it affects 3 million Teslas. They have probably to go back to their shops and get a little sticker. And the market thinks, why not sell off Tesla? Near 50-week lows right into Cybercab launch. A very interesting test of our patience for everyone who is excited about Cybercab launch on September 3rd. That is 9 days away. In my opinion, potentially a hugely transformational moment. In my opinion, we are firmly on our path back to all-time highs, 488 this year. If everything goes even roughly according to the new plan, but let's see the market clearly not reacting as we would think today. But today's session is about interesting news from Germany. And normally it's not that important what happens in Europe. Europe is normally behind. Europe is normally all about, well, let's see if we can catch up to the United States in terms of regulatory improvements for FSD, for Tesla's new technologies. But here we actually have a case that is very, very interesting. So this is in German, but I will explain to you. Maybe I can even click on translation, show translation here, and I can read you the translation and explain what that potentially means and why it's actually very big news. It is very big news for Robotaxi and Tesla because a German state of Brandenburg, in the northeast, the state surrounding Berlin, former Prussia, in case you didn't know. So Brandenburg, beautiful. Actually, my grandma is from Brandenburg. So there you have it. This is what's happening in Brandenburg. It has huge repercussions. We will go through some math in a second. It has huge repercussions for Robotaxi, for the TAM, the total addressable market of Robotaxi. And in my opinion, this unlocks a 2 million Robotaxi TAM. 2 million additional TAM. Let me explain why. First of all, what happened? Brandenburg in talks with Tesla about autonomous shuttles. Brandenburg's transport minister, Robert Krumbach, from the Social Democrats, confirms that his ministry is currently in discussions with Tesla about driverless vehicles. But the idea, autonomous shuttles are to be integrated into the existing on-demand bus system in the future, especially in rural areas. Let me explain. In Germany and many other European countries, if you are in a rural area and you do not have connectivity with buses, which means your rural area is so rural that it's not worth connecting you with a constant bus schedule, you can schedule buses manually. You can say, I want to get picked up at 5, and then if there's enough people wanting that, you get picked up by the bus. It's a little complicated, but it solves the problem. And that is very important for a lot of people. In the United States, I don't know if that's actually happening anywhere. I've never been in a rural area in the United States, but it's a smart solution. The problem is it's still complicated. It's a lot of costs incurred on the communities because you have to prepare these on-demand buses and then you have to send them. It's like a big mess, right? But you can't just cut off your people. So now Krumbach highlights a specific problem. In some regions, a regular bus doesn't run at all due to low demand or only twice a day. At the same time, there's a shortage of drivers. And Krumbach goes even further. As soon as the necessary legal approvals and permits are in place, he can very well imagine a comprehensive deployment of autonomous shuttles in rural Brandenburg. Imagine that in the United States. Imagine South Dakota. Even imagine Texas. And we're not talking about Dallas, Houston, or Austin. We're talking about West Texas, right? What about West Texas? What about, and we have it even in Pennsylvania, where we spotted a bunch of robotaxis 200 miles away from Philly. And I said it before that it was a theory of mine here in Pioneer Lands. We had the thesis that there is a new use case between public transports and rideshare because the costs are so effective that you can actually deploy cybercabs and robotaxis in rural areas in a way that gives people the opportunity to actually get around and unlock through a new low-cost, spread out solution, give them the opportunity to do it, and that's probably, and here comes the interesting thing, subsidized by the state, because the state has to spend millions and tens of millions. I mean, Brandenburg, you can be guaranteed, spends tens of millions of euros on this infrastructure, just in remote areas. So yes, you can charge $1 per mile in this situation. Maybe you can charge 50 cents, maybe you can charge 20 cents, but it would be subsidized. You would get the money from the state to do it. And for the state, it's much cheaper. For the people, it's much more effective. Everyone would be incredibly happy. State saves money, still spends money, but saves it. And the people suddenly have access. That's the magic of autonomous transport. And what does it mean for not for Texas too, but for Robotaxi? I did a little bit quick math here. And we can assume in the United States, roughly 52 million people live in rural areas. And I already excluded those in very remote rural areas where this doesn't work. And I excluded the rural people who are already well connected. So that leaves you with roughly 50 million people. And in Europe, it's actually 120 million people who live in kind of disconnected rural areas. So combined 170 million people. And that's roughly 2 million robotaxis that would be required to cover these people. And the math is very simple. This is like back of the napkin, back of ChatGPT math. Sorry, I didn't use Grok here. I used ChatGPT. But here's what's happening. If you assume 15 to 20 passenger trips per day for one robotaxi, so it's much fewer trips because they have to go further, right? And the average resident generates 0.2 robotaxi trips a day. So let's assume the average resident needs one trip per week, which is conservative, but let's say one trip per week. So that's the assumption here. One trip per week per resident affected per these 170 million people. So basically you have 170 million trips per week. If you would cover the entire thing, this is about the total addressable market. Of course, it's not happening overnight, but once a state like Brandenburg, an important German state, proves out this model, provides the economics to all the other states in Germany, they will look at it, then the other Europeans look at it, then the Americans look at it. There's a ripple effect because states need to solve these kinds of problems. And that is just one example how robotaxi, through massive disruption in price, no driver cost, and massive improvement in convenience. Imagine you are like a little, I don't know, farmer somewhere without a car. Not a farmer, farmers have cars, but in Europe, you have a lot of people who don't have cars, by the way. Don't forget that. They don't have cars. Or it's a family. I know actually a bunch of people like that. It's a family. They have one car. They live in a village. And it's 4 people. It's 5 people. And then someone has the car. Maybe the husband needs to go somewhere. And then the other 5 sit there. What if the wife wants to go to town and they only have one car? Even if they have 2 cars, which is more rare in Europe, then the other 5 are sitting there. That's why you need these, it's not that they don't have cars. It's sometimes someone has the car and then they're gone and the other person has to go and there's no bus. Boom. So this is a very pragmatic and concrete example of what could happen. And I think it is very astonishing and cool that we see that coming from Germany, because someone has to do this blueprint. And I'm very proud of the Brandenburgers to actually do that. So here's Märkische Allgemeine. Here is the newspaper that covers that. Brandenburg is betting on Tesla, will soon drive autonomous shuttles through the villages. And it actually says Brandenburg is orients itself on a model or pilot trial in the Eifel. That's another region in Germany. One self-driving Tesla is currently driving on the roads. But I think the Eifel example is actually not the same thing. Brandenburg is working on a real pilot where you roll this out. So it's very important to understand this is state subsidized. States have to solve these problems. They have budgets to do all these things. I think Tesla can do it better. And it's a very, very exciting situation. And that's just one example why I think people massively underestimate the number of robotaxis that will be needed once this thing works. And all of that ties, of course, into September 3rd, the launch of Cybercab, the big event. You know all about it. And this big event we will cover here, of course, in real time. We have some more footage here. No sound. I think this is from Houston. Someone pointed out they are Fasats, so they have actually steering wheels. But this now comes all together. We see these German pilots. We see Austin and Houston lining up with more and more of these cybercabs. And this is all coming together very nicely. We had the cybercabs. Here, look at this. Whoa. So let's go to the comments. Let's see what you guys think about this. I think big things are happening. Let's see what we have. Today we have to be a little short. What is your take on Treasury selling short-term T-bills and purchase long-term debt, dollar debasement? Well, this is like it's best in playing some games. It's how do you call this? Curve engineering. What? I forgot the word. Curve, yield curve warping. What is it? Twisting, where you are just buying short-term, selling short-term, buying long-term, bringing down long-term yields to manipulate the long-term yield. It's just what's happening. Of course, debasement. There's no doubt about debasement. Hello, D-Droid is back. Street Cred Zero, my new theory, if the market can do something that feels like trolling Tesla, it will 100%. We should ignore these things. I mean, this is just complete and utter madness what's happening here. 1 minute to go. I mean, what are you going to do? Just buy Tesla. That's what I'm doing. I'm a little maxed out right now, but that's why I'm not too happy. I had to actually de-risk because I'm right now too leveraged in this thing, and this is not very good for me, but I will survive. I remain extremely bullish. They're just trolling us, these people. What the hell is this? 349, 9 days before official Cybercab launch. You've got to be kidding me. But that's why you have to always be cautious. The market can do whatever they want. And there's a lot of games being played here. So make sure you're never getting squeezed out. That is the key. If we have another drop like this tomorrow, it wouldn't be very good for me. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell Ken Griffin. W. Hirsch. I love it. I've been shifting some Palantir to Tesla lately. I mean, Tesla is just the best deal in the universe. Look at this. 384. Madness. Anyone who has money knows what to do with it right now. Portland, Oregon in the 1990s used to have a custom bus for late night. Oh, that's very good to know. Portland, Oregon. People could call in. Exactly. That's exactly the thing, Street Crazy. That's happening all over Europe. The reason is that the ratio of Palantir to Tesla has been above 0.5, which is rare for the last 6 years. Palantir is high and Tesla should pop soon, hopefully. I agree. Der Deutsche glaubt nicht, niemals. Jawohl. The German never believes. There's no faith. The Germans are stubborn and not willing to give up their former lead in the automobile industry. Well, it's not about if they're willing to give it up. It's already too late. I just can't imagine Palantir doubling from this point before Tesla does. Seems inconceivable. I 1,000,000% agree. Cybercab rollout will be slow in more liberal US cities. Too many people rely on Uber Lyft, and if a bunch of cabs get dumped onto the city, there will be a local government revolt. Interesting. I mean, this will all be very interesting. I think you make a very good point. I don't know how this is going to play out in terms of resistance, but let's see. I'm terrified of the psycho left tearing it all down. I really think, well, I don't know what they think, but let's see what happens. I've only heard about one large-scale charger build-out application. Where are all these other for these cities? Thank you, Joe. And the pioneers, Paddy the Irishman, with a little lucky thing from Ireland. Very good. I'm not concerned about these chargers. It's so easy to build these chargers. It's not even a thing. I think they have it absolutely covered. Worst case, they can even use the existing chargers. You look at through Austin, you have so many charging stations, superchargers all over the place, and at night no one uses them. There's a clear arbitrage here. Go to existing superchargers and use the cyber caps on it. It's beautiful. It surprises me that analysts still view Tesla as just a car company. Is that the case, Kevin Streeter? I hope not. That would be very dumb analysts. So that is the situation here. I find this extremely interesting. And that is, of course, not all the news we have on Tesla, but we have a ton of news on SpaceX, but this will be a different video, by the way. NVIDIA and SpaceX are going at it. I can tell you a little bit about it, but NVIDIA announced that they aim for Q4 2027 to launch the satellite with a custom Vera Rubin rack. This 72, what is it, NVL 72 rack is now here. The NVL 72 system, which is, I think, 12 Rubins? I forgot. This 240 kilowatt thing. That is the AI version 1 satellite designed too, and that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just as a little side note, that happened today. I'm working on an updated weekly brief system that will make it even more amazing and even more efficient to produce. So I'm starting to post weekly brief news on X. It's getting pulled into the Pioneer Lens system and will then be turned into the weekly brief. That's happening. Juice DX, how much have you missed? A lot. You missed the 2 million Robotaxi news. You see it right here, show translation. The Germans are launching or doing a pilot for rolling out robotaxis in rural areas to cover the entire state of Brandenburg. Haresh, I treat it as one more bullish piece of the puzzle rather than a reason by itself to chase the stock today, of course. It's another piece of the puzzle. It just confirms that these news will keep popping up, and I think it's going to be huge. Very huge. I'm just super annoyed today with the stock. Look at this disaster of a stock. The Chinese recall might have been the reason, but this is like the most phony thing I've ever heard. Let me see where my post is. Here, by the way, not investment advice, but I posted this meme here. You can look at it. Diversifying portfolio. Look at all the healthy little fruits and a bunch of snow. More Tesla shares. Boom. But I said, this is not investment advice. Okay? Not advice. Petty the Irishman, is Brandenburg the area where AfD is doing well? Well, yes, it's doing well. It's part of the East German states, but the AfD is doing best in Sachsen-Anhalt, which is south of it, and in Thuringia, which is south of Sachsen-Anhalt. It's also doing great in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. That is to the north of it. I can show you. What about this? German states AfD. Let's see what we see. Here, images. Maybe I can show you something. Well, here you see this cool image. Oh, God, so much trash. These trash pages. Here, this is a very important image. This is actually outdated. That was a few years ago. And the blue is where the AfD dominates, and the black is where the CDU dominates. By the way, you see that all of Germany is either AfD or CDU, which is very interesting. Only some cities that have a lot of voters, of course, are red. Social Democrats and these Greens. They are the delusional people. And there's one little AfD part in West Germany, but the entire East Germany is firmly in AfD hand. And by the way, AfD is number 2 in many of these West German states. So this is very interesting. And Brandenburg is basically here roughly. This is Berlin, right? This black and pink. Pink is communists, by the way. Black and pink, this is Berlin. And then surrounding Berlin, you have Brandenburg. That's where it is. So you know what's going on there. I wanted to do something. What is this? What is that here? Oh, by the way, another news I posted here. Look at this amazing thing. Did you know this is a 10 million Optimus factory that is being built here? 10 million Optimus. It's amazing how the market ignores all these things. 10 million Optimus. I think it's two Tesla cars here. Good. Sharing. So what's the first buy? One discount, two discount, three discount, clear company closed, speed, retail leaves, and the options are free harder and harder. Exactly, the little apples are right down. God Ken says, I think Tesla price will run up into 9.3, but if the number of cars released aren't as predicted, the stock will go back down. Yes. I mean, it's pretty much a safe bet that we will have a sell the news event if we run up. And I agree, but today's one of these days that tests my patience. I think we should run into the 400s. And you know how Tesla behaves. If it wants to go to 400, why not drop it by $13 today? Because it's more volatility. People love volatility. I think institutional traders are implementing a low-key informal program of discouraging retail Tesla holders. 100% street cred zero. For everyone who thinks market manipulation and everything is like a conspiracy theory, welcome to Aschenbrenner and Ken Griffin. Look at what happened on July 31st and 30th. Really, that was not manipulation. It was hardcore targeted manipulation. If you think Tesla is not the target of that, you're wrong. So I have to wrap it up in a second. I need to make it short today, but I wanted to show you something. I forgot what. I posted it somewhere here. Elon NVIDIA. That is me, my new Schwartz. Damn it, what was it? I had such a... I forgot. Oh, the software recall. Yes, exactly. I posted something why the stock is down. Here we have it. Yes, not just a software recall that requires physical intervention. It's a recall that requires physical intervention. So what happened is there is a safety issue. There's a 3 million car recall in China, and this time they have to recall the cars to go back to the shop, and they need to put little stickers on them. And I said, even if that's just $10 in average cost, maybe it's $10 for China, who knows, $10. You know, it's $30 million in earnings hit. Not great. So that's why the stock is down a little bit. You know, 10 million, 30 million, that's roughly 1% or whatever. It's roughly 1% of earnings. So it's like 1% of Tesla. Tesla should be down 1% today. And the market is down. So, you know, if you do the math, you know, Tesla is down 3.8%. NASDAQ is down 0.76. Tesla has a beta of 2. So it should be down 1.5%. And then this news drags it down another percent with a little bit of panic, another percent. And then you have your 3%. So it kind of makes sense. But given the Robotaxi launch, it's of course completely ridiculous. But that is part of the game. That is why we need to be smart. You can't make that return without stress. Very simple. Chris Rapp, Servus Jo. If Apple were to release Cybertaxi, the riders would be getting in line at every Apple store since last week, and the stock would be 30 to 50%. This market is confused. Yes, I mean, you're totally right. Video soundtrack is massively loud. I can barely hear it. It's so weird. This is so weird. Musk said SpaceX revenue will be 90% plus AI. That is true. Tesla is no longer a car company, it's an AI company. Will Musk have 2 AI companies? Merger is coming. Of course. Harish, well, I de-risked a little bit, which is very annoying. losing a little bit of my big fat trade. But it's always important. You should never be too scared. There's an old trading rule. You should always have a position where you can sleep at night. Meaning you should not be in a situation where you just have to pray that nothing bad happens overnight. So I think big picture is another big drop tomorrow would be incredibly unlikely unless this is some form of trap. I don't understand what's going on with this whole sound problem here all the time. China stamp tax. As an investor, I cannot remember a single quarterly call or product release event that meaningfully moved the stock higher. Well, but I can remember events that moved the stock higher into the event. At one point, I was maintaining the hedging integration for a petro multinational trading division. My boss used to say, $1 million here, $1 million there, business as usual. Exactly. She said that when one of my bugs was causing millions of exposure every 5 minutes. Yes. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up. We have it all covered for today. We will track this little dropping disaster here, but I don't think it's going to get much worse. We also have to understand the big picture. You know, the stock can only be so stupid for so long, and it's already being very stupid. So this is so ridiculously, massively undervalued that I really don't think it can stay down here for too long. But let's see. We have consumers that have been Elon bad for a while now. They will just lose out overall, but that is a market segment that can be ignored, but can be throttled current. Diversify, not for me. Exactly. Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We continue tomorrow. We are in the race for the next 9 days to Cybercap launch. Let's see what the market comes up with. And then